Hey there, my name is LexC, and thank you so much for joining me today. The topic I'm going to be discussing is going to be how to set your price, some things that you need to consider when you are determining what your price should be, and also having a certain mindset to stick with that pricing or adjusting prices as the need comes up. So if that sounds like something you may be interested in learning and hearing more about, stay tuned. Before starting this video, I just want to remind you that I am not necessarily a licensed professional with this. This is completely from my opinion and just little things that I have done to figure out what kind of prices I will charge people. So keep that in mind for this video. These are suggestions. These are not law. You can do your own way and you can set your prices in a strategy that you see fit for you and your business and your industry. So keep that in mind. When it comes to setting your price, a lot of people have asked me, LexC, how do you decide how much you're going to charge somebody? And there really is no right or wrong way to come to the conclusion that I'm going to charge X amount of dollars for this particular service for these particular people or within this particular time period, whatever. The best advice I can give you for setting your price is to look at people around you in your industry, see some of the averages, some of the norms that are for the people who might be on your level, and then kind of base your pricing off of what those people are pricing their services at. So for me, I'm a singer, I'm a songwriter, I'm an audio engineer. I do a lot of things as it pertains to the studio. What I did is a combination of looking at what other people charge for their services and not like huge name people like a Beyonce or a Drake or a Timbaland, because they can charge people like $200,000 for a track, $50,000 for a track. I don't have that kind of clout just yet. I'm still building up to that. But there are a lot of people in other studios who offer the same kind of services I do. So I just look at what they charge. For example, I also provide vocal lessons. So I would look at vocal teachers who teach at traditional music schools or vocal teachers who teach out of recording studios like Sienna at Rich Productions. She charges a certain amount per hour. There's a certain dollar amount that the teachers at these traditional music schools charge. And so based off of how many years of experience I have being a singer and how well I think I can articulate and explain certain exercises to people, I made my price to be, what it is. Should I say my price? I guess I should. I've noticed that a lot of teachers will do $35 for a half hour, $70 for a full hour. If you get package deals like 10 lessons to 20 lessons and you buy all of that at once, there's a better incentive to save per session instead of buying individual. So I wrote that down in my handy dandy notebook and I calculated how much would I like to make from doing this particular service. And then as it pertains to vocal lessons, I also had to look at, all right, what is the space I'm going to be using? Will I be going to a client's house? Will I bring clients to my house? Will I be using a studio? Based on what I have right now, the recording studio Rich Productions is the best option I have at doing vocal lessons. All right, the person who is already one of the teachers at Rich Productions, how much is she giving the studio? That's how much I want to give. How much can I charge to make sure that I'm making X amount per hour or per half hour? And then how much of that is, going to be given to the studio. That plays a factor in how much I charge for vocal lessons. And that also plays a factor in how much I charge for songwriting and vocal production during sessions, as well as engineering. So when it comes to songwriting or doing background vocals for people or doing reference vocals for people, I really just base it off of how long it takes me to do those things, how much I would like to make from doing that thing to make it feel like it was worth my time or to make me feel like I'm getting paid for what I am worth. So when it comes to my songwriting, I really just do a flat fee for that. Unless somebody wants to do like an in-person or a virtual songwriting session, then numbers start to get a bit more negotiable, but only to the point of I know it's going to hit my minimum that I charge, or it might be over what I typically charge. in-person or virtual songwriting, that might be a little bit more in cost because it's taking more of my personal time, which is another consideration that I like to keep in mind. Is this something that I can do independent of the client, or is it something that is going to require the client to be there with me, something that we have to do together step by step? Now, when it comes to doing things by myself, if I'm given free range of creativity, then the price might be a little bit lower. However, if the client wants to be there every step of the way, that might be a little bit more pricey. Why is that? Because as I said, it's going to take me a little bit longer. I'm not being able to move at the pace that I'm comfortable at moving. And there's just a lot more to deal with when you are working with a client face to face, person to person, and trying to, make sure every little detail along the way is to the liking of that client. Whereas if I do it by myself, I can just do what I think the client would like, send it off. You get a certain amount of revisions. After those certain amount of revisions, I'll charge you extra per additional revision. And that's a whole nother thing. You know what I mean? So when it comes to my songwriting and background vocals, I look at, okay, when I'm doing my own music, how long does it take me to do backgrounds when I'm doing my own song? Or when someone has asked me to do backgrounds for their stuff, depending on what the song was, how long did it take me? How many harmonies did I do? How many stacks did I do? How much detail was put into this, basically? What makes it difficult about basing my prices off of my personal process is the fact that I usually have a lot of time disposable when I'm by myself working on my stuff for me in the studio. When it comes to doing other people's stuff, I'm usually on a time crunch. I need to get the harmonies done in a certain amount of time. I need to think of them in a certain amount of time, so it's not infringing on the studio time that's been set aside for me from the client. That's another consideration. But really, just take pretty much the average amount of time that it takes you to complete something like that and determine, again, how much would I like to make per hour. And again, you have to take into consideration if I'm renting a space like a studio or any other kind of place that is not it's not under my control, or I have to spend an extra amount of money to get the job done, then make sure you build that into your price. So to rent a studio at Rich Productions, let's say the A room is $40 per hour rental. So what I would do is I want to make, if it takes me 2 hours to do background vocals for a song, I want to make $150, or I want to make let's just say I want to make $50 from that particular work. So $50 per hour, so 2 hours times 50, I want to make at least $100 off of that. But in 2 hours, it's also going to cost me an additional $80. So I might say, okay, it's going to cost me $80 for the studio. I want at least $100. That's $180 right there. Let me put that price to $200 just so it sounds better, or let me push that price to $250 so it sounds more official. And then when it comes to sending invoices and things like that, I'll make sure that I put in the detailed box hey, studio rental time, it costs this much. That's where this fee is coming from. So I went over how much time it might take you to do it. If you're going to do it independent of the client, you also have to make sure you are taking into consideration any rentals that you might have to purchase to get the job done. And then comparing the averages amongst other people within your industry and seeing what people on your level are charging. Something else that you want to keep in mind is, you want to be valued for your work and you want people to take you seriously. So you want to do something that is going to make you feel like your work is valued, but you also don't want to beat people across the head with a price that they don't want to pay, or a price that they don't have the budget for. And it's going to come to a point where even with myself, I have set prices. If people ask me what I charge, then I already have prices in my mind. All right, I charge this for that service. I charge this for backgrounds. I charge that for references. I charge this for features, this for verses, this for hooks, this for entire songs, blah, 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 so on and so forth. You have to think about that for yourself as well. But it will come to a point where maybe someone just does not have the budget that you are asking for, and maybe the artist is actually really dope. This video is strictly from music, I'm realizing. Although I hope if you're in a different industry, you can apply it to your particular industry. But Sometimes you'll get those people who say, I want to work with you, but I just don't have the budget for that particular service. Can you work with me? That's going to become an issue of whether or not, all right, you got to look at this person that you're working with as your potential client. Is this person a dope artist? Are they putting in a lot of work to get their music put out there? Are they the type to put credits on their songs? If I work with this person, what's going to be the benefit? Will my name be put out there? Like, I know a lot of us don't like the idea of exposure, but sometimes I will do trades with people when it comes to certain songs that we're doing, or like, I don't know. I don't really know how to explain it. Like, it just depends on the person, really. If I mess with you and I see that you're a serious artist and you've done certain things and you've invested in similar ways that I've invested into myself, then I might be more likely to work with you because I know that you are actually trying. And that's a whole nother video for, a different topic. Like, when people see you working, then they're more inclined to want to help you and work with you, versus if you're not doing much for yourself, people are not going to want to do much for you. So that's something you got to keep in mind. But I really just look at, what is this person doing? How much can they pay me? What am I willing to do for the amount that they are going to pay me, so that I'm still getting paid for my services, even if it's a little lower than what I expected. And if I am getting paid a little lower than what I expected, again, thinking, all right, what other benefits are there to this? Is this a certain caliber of artist who might be higher in rank than I am, or higher in clout? I don't know what the proper term is these days, but is this someone who can help elevate my name? Or do I want to place more importance in dollars over credits, if that makes sense? Credits, that's the word I was looking for. So basically, yeah, like, there's going to be a point where you have to decide, all right, am I doing this for money or am I doing this for credits? Because there is kind of a fine balance in, I want to make a profit, or I want people to know that I does this. So you're going to have to decide in your mind, when am I going to stand firm on the prices that I charge? When am I going to be a little bit lenient? If I am going to be lenient, what are some benefits other than financial gain that's going to come along with me finishing this particular job? I want to say that's a pretty general rundown of some of the things you want to keep in mind when it comes to setting your price. You want to make sure you are setting your price as something that's going to make you feel like your work is valued, and that you are getting what you would like to make, at the very least, per hour. Make sure that you are accounting for, any rental equipment or any rental fees it's going to cost you to complete the job. Build that into your price. Make sure you have looked at competition. What kind of things are they charging? Is there something that you can offer differently to charge more than your competitors? Or will you charge a little bit less so that you can possibly build a client base or just get more credits? Deciding when people come to you with a conflict of budget, something that's not going to match what you're asking for, in your mind, am I going to take this client even though they can't pay me what I want to be paid? If I do take this client for less than what I usually make, what is the benefit for me outside of monetary gain? Am I getting some kind of exposure? Is this a name I want my brand to be attached to? Is it going to give me more clients through word of mouth? If people see me working with this person, will they then want to work with me, even though this person didn't, pay me as much as I would like? Or is this person just dope? Do they have a good work ethic? Do I want to help them out because I see that they're trying, they've invested the same way that I have? And what other considerations have I talked about in this so far? How much would you like to make minimum per hour? I've already said build in the rental fees. I think that's pretty much it for this particular video. Now, I hope that you don't get frustrated with the fact that I did not necessarily go into detail of what I charge for my services. If you want to know what I charge for my services, you can hit me up directly, lexisolo@gmail.com. That's in the description box down below. You could also hit the Work with LexC tab in my description box down below, and that will take you to my shop page, which will let you know how much I charge for my services, like backgrounds, references, features, entire songs, whatever genre you do. But I don't want this video to be too focused on what I charge, because I don't know what you will end up wanting to do. So the only advice I can tell you is all of the points that I have listed in this video. And then I would also add that you should make a list of everything that you know you can do, even if it is not necessarily related to your particular industry. So an example of that would be, I'm a singer, songwriter, audio engineer. All of that stuff has to do with the studio, has to do with music, but I also shoot YouTube videos. I also do artist interviews. I can do some quick photo shoots for people. That's another talent, that's another skill that I can tap into to charge people for certain things. I'm also a model, in case you didn't notice from the makeup and the highlight and the hair. I'm also a model, so people can book me for photo shoots or for video shoots. And just make a list of everything that you know you're good at, and then attach a price to it. When people ask you how much you charge, have something ready to tell people. If people cannot pay you for that, again, go back into your mind. Is it going to be worth it for me to get paid a little bit less than I was expecting? What are the benefits of getting paid a little bit less? And then decide if you're going to work with people based on that. So I don't want you to get discouraged if you were looking for exact numbers. If you want me to do a consultation with you and go through like how much should I be charging people, you can use that Work with LexC link in my description box down below. Set up a consultation with me and we can go through all of those points and get you squared away with your price sheet. So that is all I have for you on how to set your price. I hope you found this video informative, and I hope that it sparked some inspiration for how you are going to decide how you're going to charge people for your services. Let me know if you have any questions about this particular topic down in the comments down below. Let me know if you want to see more content like this. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And I want to give a shout out to my patrons who are seeing this video way in advance before the general public does on YouTube. They get to see me well in advance as soon as I upload my content, because they pay as little as $5 per month to get that exclusivity of seeing my content as soon as I upload it, not when I decide to make it public like you are seeing on YouTube, if you're watching on YouTube right now. So if you would like to become a patron and you want to see videos as soon as I upload it, as well as have your video requests pushed to the top of my list for stuff that I film, then to become a patron, click on the link in my description down below for just $5 a month. That can be you. But thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you for joining me today. Until next time, my name is LexC. Peace.